Alright guys, let me paint a picture for you. Let's say you get up early in the morning, you get all your crawling accessories ready, you got your truck ready to go, you got your toolbox set off to the side, your batteries are charged, everything's ready to rock and roll, you got your batteries in your remote, hop in the car, throw everything in the back, and you drive, I don't know, 20-30 minutes to the trailing spot, your favorite crawling spot. You get out there, you got your buddies with you, you might be alone, and you get crawling. Let's say half an hour goes by, boom, truck breaks. Nothing new there, that happens to everybody all the time. Go to your toolbox and what do you got in there? You got some Dean's plugs, you've got a bunch, probably 150 plastic 4-links from when you took them off of all your previous crawlers and just never threw them away. You've got a bunch of parts trees of spacers, and you've got a spare body mount, and just random crap. I mean, probably the most random crap you could think of. That's what's in everybody's toolbox. So of course you don't have the part, so now you've got to drive half an hour home just to get a part, and by the time you do that you don't even feel like going out crawling anymore. So if that's you, you're going to want to watch this video, because I'm going to go over with you guys what to keep in your toolbox. What I recommend in your RC toolbox for when you're out in the field, I recommend having multiple toolboxes. Obviously you want some accessories in your toolbox that you take with you, you want a little more in depth at home, but I'm going to show you guys what to keep, everything from just a basic setup all the way up to like a full toolbox, so you can basically repair anything on your car on the trail. But we'll start off with a basic setup, and I'll show you guys what I recommend, what I think is worth it, what's not worth it, and some of the most popular breaks you're going to encounter in the field. So your basic toolbox setup. Most of you guys carry a box probably similar to this size. I'm sure a lot of you carry just some plastic trays, but I guarantee you all of your boxes have same crap in it. You got some end links, you got your transmission cover that you took off of your XCX10 when you first got it. You've probably got some wire, some random accessories. If you're like me, you've got your side rails, you've got some old SCX10 shocks that probably don't even, I don't know where the reservoir is for that, but it's not like it did anything. Shock oil, just one random bag of it. I've got a motor laying around. I don't know what that's even from, but anyway, basically it's all your leftovers from your kit build that you never did anything with, but you wanted to take them out in the field just so it looked like you had a cool toolbox with a ton of setup in it. So let's go and start off with your basic tools that you're going to need. I recommend picking up a good set of hex wrenches. This is a low C set, very nice set. Most of them are going to come with the standard size you'll need. I think it's 1.5, 2 millimeter, and 2.5 millimeter. You're going to need probably a, what is it, a 6 millimeter or 7 millimeter. Let's see here. I'm not sure what size it is. I just pull it out and use it. Yeah, 7 millimeter socket head. That's going to be for your wheel nuts. That's a very popular tool there. And like I said, 1.5, 2, and 2.5. Those are the three that you're going to use the most. And a good ratcheting wrench. I like this one because you can actually take your socket head, Allen head, I'm sorry, any of them, and put it on. And you've got another one on the other side. You can adjust how long it is. You can make shorter, longer, whatever you want to do. So it's a really handy tool. You're going to use this more than anything out in the field. And it comes with a nice little case so you can keep it all bundled up so you're not going to lose anything. But this right here, lifesaver. Definitely have one of these with you. Set of needle nose pliers. This is probably the second most important. I know you can use the wrenches or the socket heads that are in there to get to the nuts on the backside of the bolts. I'm telling you, needle nose pliers is going to be 1,000 times easier. You can't always get straight on to the end of that nut to loosen it or to hold it. So needle nose is going to get in those tight places. I've always had a set of needle nose pliers in my tool bag. Also recommend a good set of wire cutters. You don't have to have anything this big. I like them because it makes it easier to pinch down on something. You're going to use this if you need to cut new battery wires, if you need to do any ESC or motor wiring. Sometimes you'll use this for other random things. Let's say you get crawling, you get a vine wrapped up in your wheel. Sometimes you can't get it untangled. You snip it right off. So definitely some wire cutters are a good addition to your toolbox. I also like to keep a razor blade so I can cut fools if they come up on me. Now, I keep a razor blade in my toolbox. This is probably the most useful tool in there just because you can do everything with it. If you need to get through something, if you need to trim something, The plastic it cuts real easy with one of these. So keep a razor blade. Also make sure your blade is sharp. They sell these blades in packs, so you're not gonna have a problem there. Just grab a multi-pack of them and make sure you keep a sharp blade, because that thing is gonna come in handy working on your car, cutting fools that try to cross you. Also, keep a flathead and a Phillips head screwdriver, some smaller sizes. My Losi tool set has them. Most good tool sets, I know Dynamite makes one. Of course, all your Traxxas and Losi and all your brands are going to make a tool set. But there's a lot of good ones out there, so do your research. You want one that has a good head on it, because those heads over time will round off the Allen heads. So do your research and get a good one. You should probably spend about, I would say $30 to $50 for a set. That's a good reasonable price for a set that'll get you not overkill but not a cheap set. So definitely a good investment there. Now on to parts that you're going to need in your toolbox for most major repairs. I've found the most common thing that you're going to need: screws, nuts, bolts, and washers. Always have a pack of these handy. My recommendation, don't just throw them in your toolbox. They're going to get rolled around. You're going to drop it. It's going to flip upside down. You want to keep a separate pack for all of your screws. And I've got a few of them in here, but this one right here, this one will work. I keep my machine thread and my coarse thread separate, and I also keep my grub screws and my washers and nuts, or my washers and nuts separate from everything else. And that just makes it easier when you're out in the field to pop it open and find the exact size you need, instead of digging through piles of screws all day. So screws is very handy. Also, as far as parts go, your standard SCX10 and Wraith, the things you're going to go through the most, I would say keep servo horns, shock mounts, end links, different lengths of end links. And when I say end links, the little plastic things that connect your rods or your 4-link bars to the axles and to the body, those little, it looks like a shaft with a little circle and you put a metal insert into it. Definitely keep those. You're going to want to keep extra pins, the axle pins. When you take your wheel off and you take that 12mm hub off, there's a little pin inside there. Those things get lost frequently, especially when you're doing wheel and tire changes out in the field, so you want to keep some extra of those. Servo horns. Definitely keep servo horns on you. Keep some plastic ones, keep some metal ones, whatever works for you. I'm not going to get into which one's better, but definitely keep some servo horns. And keep a couple different sizes, because you never know, your servo might go out and your buddy might have a totally different servo that you can use, but he doesn't have a horn. So they're all different tooth counts on the servo horn, so definitely keep a couple different sizes. That way if you run into that issue, you can use it. Keep drive shaft grub screws or pins. That's a very common issue. The pins or the set screws will back themselves out while you're running, spin itself off, and next thing you know, you're without a drive shaft, or you're in two-wheel drive mode, which is no good. So definitely keep those. Also, while we're on that subject, keep small grub screws for your pinion gear or extra pinion gears, because that is another common thing that spins itself off whenever you're driving. You'll drive down, you'll be crawling and you'll be in a tight spot and that was a little high pitch, but it'll spin itself off and you got nothing, because you've got everything in your toolbox except for a pinion gear. So keep some extras of those. They're pretty cheap. It's a good addition. I recommend keeping some extra bearings also in your toolbox, just because the popular bearings, your axle bearings, some of your transmission bearings, those are some of the most popular things that tend to go out in these trucks, especially if you're doing water. If you're going through, ponds or not ponds, if you're going through little creeks or whatnot, or you're getting wet and mud, the more dirt and grime that gets up in there, it's going to really just eat at that bearing. So keep some extra bearings in the field. Also, in your transmission, there are a couple gears, and if you've got metal gears, it's definitely something you don't have to carry extras. But if you're running the stock plastic gears, I recommend going and picking up another gear set and just carrying those extra gears in there, because that center gear, the idler gear in the transmission, goes out a lot, as well as the spur gear. So keep a few extra of those. And I know it sounds like we're just saying to keep everything, but these are just the most common things, and really it's not that expensive. They're all plastic parts, so I think your gear set's like $10. You can get a couple spur gears for $10. Your end links, they come in a bag of like 3,000. So no, they come in a bag of like 20 or 12 or something like that. So you'll definitely have enough there. But I think that pretty much covers it as far as what you should get just right off the top. Tools and your spare parts that you're going to need. The most important thing is having the tools for the job, because nothing sucks worse than getting out there and forgetting to bring your 2mm, which almost everything on this truck is a 2mm. So in addition to that, if you guys want some of the extras that you can bring, let's see here, we'll go through the list. Wheels, tires, foams, bodies, frame rails, shocks, shock caps, shock fluid, shock mounts, diff covers, axles, C-hubs, steering links, steering servo horns, electronics, ESCs, motors, trans gears, trans housings, trans skid plates, 4-link bars, 2-link bars, 3-link bars, 4-link plates, servo plate, bumpers, lights, receiver, body mount, body clips, hub adapters, hub extenders, grub screw, set screw, coarse screw, fine screw, batteries, lipo battery charger, soldering iron, shears, stock honcho bodies, quick setting epoxy, JB Weld, a 6-foot level, 8-scale buggy tires, action camera mount, a basketball, a little one. Bring a safe with you, you never know. How about a Mugen MBX7 roller? How about the box to a Mugen MBX7 roller? Cordless phone, cup of tea, cell phone, your favorite catalog. Oops, sorry. Extra brushless motor. Tape measure. Autographed Colt McCoy photo. Interlude. Whew. Alright, so now that you guys know what to bring in your toolbox out when you're crawling, and hopefully you have a big enough truck to fit all that crap, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope you got some insight from this. If you've got any comments or questions or anything, please comment below. I'd love to hear what you guys carry in your toolboxes. I know everybody's got a different setup, so you know, if you got some insight on that, definitely let me know. I'd love to hear what you got going on. Other than that, subscribe to my videos, guys. I got more coming. We got some more updates on the Project SCX10. I got what was it? There was a guy on YouTube that posted the Wrath. That's a cool name. I'm digging that. So we might end up going with that because it's like a Wraith, but not. So I'm liking that. So subscribe again, guys, and I'll see you soon.